Susan told me that they don't contest it either, so we need the same thing. How much time to fix it, the often come to an agreement, and how much for the bond. Yes.
Was Kim and Steve? What are you talking? Oh, okay.
You're hiding already. Can't see you. What are you doing?
See, your head still gets to the door. Both at the same time, too.
I'm gonna print that, I'll put it on my mom's fridge.
That's quite a compliment.
I didn't know that he didn't specify any of that stuff on his career whenever we were talking about it. He just,
He called me first, and then he sent that email. I was almost gonna ask him, hey, will you send me an email? I did, and he did anyway.
That was their big, it was.
and then.
He encouraged them to mess with you. Call Sam and tell him you have a complaint about us.
If I was ever gonna do that, I'd be like, I have to make a complaint, get on the phone, like, I find this to your staff for me.
Okay. What is the scope of work?
It's that glass conversion to
Oh,
living area, like that bathroom. And that's what it's.
okay. My provider is a private sector company. I'm off,
We have one left, but the one you have, I think only one case does Yes.
So there's some value in maybe not pulling the trigger on starting a hearing?
Possibly.
No, that's good, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get them all.
I do prefer that, because then obviously I can call them up and convince everything. Okay, well, perfect, I'll just sit there and wait for you guys.
Okay, and then the one that we have that might be contested, we're gonna be here for, I might just ask them questions because it's their first time doing this.
So there is one that's contested, that you think is
They're
contested?
really here. Okay, 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 perfect.
Really?
Fine, timelines.
I see, so everything is in progress. You don't think that there would be anything that we probably have to proceed on in a evidentiary? Okay, well then I'll let you.
So what we have is. And
Well, that was, he was just, contractor was just speaking to Sam, he just needed to know what the private provider thing was. They said he would do it, and Sam said as soon as he got that submitted it, that we would close it. So we're looking at, that's all, contractor, to get the information. Okay. Yeah, the 50, yeah, but, yeah.
No, I do.
I'm gonna wait just a little bit. Actually, Ms. Harrison, let me put something on the record real quick. People are here on time. All right. Good morning, everyone. The time is 9:05. I'm Christian Waugh, and I'm the Citrus County Special Master presiding over this building division compliance hearing. I just wanted to say I'm calling the hearing to order, but I'm going to go into recess briefly because it's my understanding that there's some resolutions that are in progress. So instead of calling everyone up and having a contentious hearing on something, I want to give you an opportunity to resolve your case. I think we're all on the same page on that, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to go into recess for a few minutes, and we'll be back.
Thank you.
The time is 9:07, 9:08-ish, we're back. So at these hearings, we normally follow an agenda, one of which is posted outside of this hearing room. First item on the agenda is the call to order. The second item on the agenda is the pledge to the flag, so I'd like to ask you, if you can, to stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.
If any person decides to appeal any decision made by the Building Code Compliance Special Master with respect to any matter considered at this public hearing, he or she will need to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made, which record shall include the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. Item D, there are no prior hearings that exist. This is the first one, therefore there are no minutes for the special master to approve.
Right.
Item E, the staff update is listed out front on the table.
Okay. Before I get into the whole big, long opening statement, are all cases resolved?
I believe they are. I've been advised by the code officers that we are no contest, and they have discussed periods of time to ameliorate as well as possible fines for each case.
Okay. Well, that's great. Then I will selectively use for my opening statement then. Good morning. My name is Christian Waugh. I'm a licensed Florida attorney acting as what is called a special master. That's a fancy title created by the law. But what it means is that I preside over this hearing and have been hired by the county to do so. What I'm going to tell you during this opening statement applies to each of your hearings, so I would appreciate it if you'd pay attention. When your case is called, please come forward and you will be placed under oath. If you're appearing at a hearing like this for the first time, I will state the alleged violation, or the county will state the alleged violation, and I would allow the county to present its case. Then we go through a whole process where maybe there's cross-examinations. It doesn't sound like that's going to be taking place this morning, but you still have the right to do that if you want. And at any time during that process, I may have questions of parties, witnesses, or staff, and before issuing a ruling, And even if you have an agreement, I'm still going to ask if there's someone from the public who wants to be heard, by the way. Then such members of the public would have an opportunity to speak in each case. Such right to speak is not unlimited, and public comment should be focused on the case and made as succinctly as possible. Although persons may be upset or even passionate about what they have to say, all witness testimony must remain civil, and you should not interrupt other witnesses, parties, or attorneys. Now, customarily in these cases, if you are found guilty or if you essentially are not contesting it, the law requires that I give a time to comply before a fine begins, and you must fix the violation by that date, or the fine will accrue for each day that you remain in violation. The law allows Citrus County to impose an accrued fine as a lien on all property, and then the county has the right to foreclose on that lien or seek a money judgment against you after the lien has been recorded for 3 months. I, of course, always encourage everyone here who has questions about their rights or remedies to seek their own legal counsel. Let's see. Sometimes I will continue cases. It doesn't sound like I'm going to do that today. And if we do have a contested hearing and I do have to make a ruling, you would have the right to appeal that ruling, either the county or you would have the right, depending on how it goes. So thank you.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, the first case will be SM Industries, case number 2024-01503, Officer Timothy Williams, and that is on page 5 of the agenda. The experts are Samuel Acosta, who is the building official, and Joanna Coutu was the expert, but she had someplace else to be, so Joseph Hockadell will be the expert in place of Joanna.
She decided she didn't want to appear.
She had a conflict.
She had a conflict
I'm
with her
joking.
schedule.
That's okay.
Joseph, you want to come out?
Mr. Dawson, you can stand at the podium.
Yes. Raise your right hand. Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Okay, great. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And are you an agent or owner of SM Industries LLC?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming. All right, so what do you want to tell me?
At this point, it has been discussed before the hearing with the code officer that Mr. Dawson is not contesting the notice of violation. The county agrees with Mr. Dawson having 6 months to bring this property into compliance. After speaking with the code officer, there are currently 4 pending permits on this property for this violation, 3 for buildings and 1 for site development. So because of that, code is requesting a $200 a day per permit violation. That way, if he gets it partially in compliance, it does bring the violation down, but that would be a total of $800 a day after the 6
If
months.
none
have
of
run.
them were brought into
If
compliance.
nothing was brought into compliance, correct.
Well, I guess I would like to just make sure I understand the situation. There's 4 open permits, pending
Yes, sir.
permits? Okay, there's
4
4
submitted permits.
4 submitted.
Yes.
All right, and so in order to abate the violation, do the permits just have to be pulled, or are we talking about work? I just need to understand
They will
what the
have to
actual-
be, the permit will have to be issued.
So all the permits just have to be issued, and then the violations go away?
Correct.
Okay, so he's got 6 months to pull 4 permits.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'd like us to be specific about what the permits are that are necessary, just so that he knows exactly what he needs. I'm sure he does, but, I want it on the record, if you don't mind.
All right, there is 1 permit for a 30 by 31 by 12 metal building, another permit for a 30 by 100 metal building, the 1 permit for the wooden structure, which should be your showroom.
Yes, sir.
And 1 permit for a site plan.
And what would have to be shown on the site plan?
All of the buildings, driveways, concrete, everything that is on that property.
Okay. Are we all on the same page? Is that what your understanding is of what you need to and will do in the 6 months?
Yes, sir, may I,
Yeah.
so, the violation came in August,
Mm-hmm.
and, I brought, the end of August, and I brought an engineer on record, the first or second week of September, we signed a contract, And we've been working diligently. I've been working with the engineer on record and 2 other civil engineers. And we've been really, really hammering it out. And we're really close. But the only thing is, I was just wondering if at the end of 6 months, if I don't have all those permits, if there's a possibility that, you'd give me some time of continuance if you see that I'm working and that I'm striving to bring everything to where it needs to be, because we've had a lot of hurdles.
Tell me a little bit about this property. I mean, so what is it and what do you do on it?
So it's a property that I acquired in 2017, and, it was a can of worms because it had a residential house on there, and I've basically been running, my business out of it for the most part, and I didn't realize, because it had that building, I wanted to remodel that building and expand it, and I knew that I was doing wrong, to be totally honest with you, and I'm sorry, but I didn't realize the extent that, I was getting myself into, and now I'm in a point where it's a can of worms. And I want to bring everything
Right.
100% into compliance. It's just really been taking a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money,
I mean, I'd be shocked if you couldn't do it in just get the permits issued. I mean,
Yes,
they're not
sir.
saying you have to complete the work under the permits in the 6 months. So my only order today is, and I say this for everyone, the point of these resolutions is to avoid us spending an hour or 2 on each of your cases, which is a distinct possibility. It could be more time. So I appreciate, for your all's sake, when you come to a resolution, don't think that you have to do this, by the way. But it seems to me that it's more than one permit, but on the other hand, are you aware of any hurdles now that would make 6 months a hurdle for you?
I don't really think so, but my engineer on record is very green. He's only had his license for a year, and I brought 2 other engineers in to basically consult him through me, and it's been very, very, very time consuming. And there hasn't been a day that's gone by that I haven't put 4 or 5 hours into this legitimately, and also run my business at the same time. And I know that's not the county's problem, but I'm just asking for, possible mercy that, let's just say, God forbid, I can't get these permits, all 4 of them going in the next 6
Well, I'll
months.
tell you, this is mercy.
Yeah.
6 months for 4 permits.
Okay.
Given that I guess this has been pending a long time. I mean, if the notice of violation came in August or September, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying,
Sure.
really compared to most of my cases, this to me is very merciful. This is,
Okay.
Not to make too much of a gladiator analogy, but
I understand.
So in any event, is there any reason that the county has to think that 6 months might not be enough to pull these permits?
I do not. All of the permits have had review comments sent to you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they've all
So there's
been
already been one
reviewed.
round.
Correct. Here's what we need for you to correct. So the ball in his court, so to speak.
Okay, I
And,
really cannot imagine
that's-
6 months would
That's a
be.
pretty long time.
I'm
Okay.
surprised you
You
guys
might wanna-
agreed. 6 months.
Well, I
Stop for
appreciate
another-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also wanted to add that the inspection process will have to be performed by private providers.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, I'm shocked that 6 months. So I think this is a good deal.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it if they didn't agree to it.
Yes, sir.
So is there anyone from the public who wants to be heard on this case? I don't see anybody. So if you don't have any objections, sir, what I'll do is I'll find that there is a violation in this case. I think that's being admitted to. I just want that clear for the
Yes, sir.
record.
100%.
That the resolution is, in order to abate the violations, you'll need to pull 4 permits, 3 building, 1 site development, basically. And I'm going to incorporate what Mr. Williams put on the record about what the permits are for. And you'll have 6 months to do it from the date of my order. I'll sign an order, and you'll have 6 months from the date of that order to bring it into compliance. If it's not brought into compliance, if any permit is not issued within those 6 months, it'd be a $200 a day fine. And for the clarity in the record, that means if none of them are pulled in 6 months, it's $800 a day. If only one of them has failed to be pulled in the 6 months, it's $200 a day. I always encourage you, if you are having problems, get in touch with them. Even if you end up technically violating, it may not get to me. It may be that they, in their discretion, don't tell me about it and they work with you on it. That's up to them. So
I appreciate that.
that's all I've got. Is there anything else?
No, sir, and I'm hoping realistically, a couple months. I'm trying every day, so my whole thing is I wanna be 100% compliant. I wanna get that property exactly how it has to
Yeah.
be, and that's my goal. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're going into the third round of comment submittals, so I'm hoping that we can get it right very, very soon.
Well, good luck in your business and good luck on the permits.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
I really appreciate
Thanks.
that. Yes, sir.
Okay, the next case on the docket is Frank and Dorinda Dancer. Case number 2024-01689. Officer is Timothy Williams. This is on page 3 of the agenda, and the expert witness on the case is building official Samuel Acosta.
Stand.
Ms. Dancer?
Just in case y'all get into fights.
You swear you in? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you put your name on the record, please?
Dorinda Dancer.
Okay, thank you.
And on this case, it has been provided to me that there is no contest for this notice of violation. They, county spoke with Ms. Dancer and are in agreement with 6 months to pull the permits. My understanding is this is for a dock as well as a gazebo that was pulled with, that was installed without a permit, as well as the gazebo's in the wrong location. And if that's not brought into compliance within 6 months, $50 a day.
Submitted, yeah.
All right, so let me also try to make sure I understand this. So essentially, I guess what's happened, Ms. Dancer, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's a dock and gazebo installed on residential property that you own,
Yes.
and it was done without a permit, and I heard wrong location. What does that mean? It's,
So we put it it's too close to the water.
okay,
So we're pulling it back so it's 35 feet
got it.
from the water.
Okay, okay. Is that square with what your understanding is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, this isn't a criticism, this is just a question. I really, just for people in the audience to know, sometimes these hearings can go all day. Sometimes they go so long that they'll go into other days. So I always encourage the parties to come to a resolution. But why did it only resolve today? Like, why did it come to the hearing instead of resolving before? Were y'all not talking about it?
No,
or-
we've been talking all
We've been in
along.
Oh, okay.
constant contact.
It's just
Okay.
that I had an engineer, Ken Frank is the engineer.
Yeah.
And when I asked for the drawings, he gave me drawings, but as is, and I was asking for drawings for permits, so I paid.
Drawings that would work instead of drawings of what's there and will not work.
Yes,
Okay.
and so then I had to get with the county, and I've been reading codes, and they've absolutely been working with us.
Great,
And we
okay.
just came to a resolution of how to.
That's
make
perfect,
everything
fine. Like I said, it's not criticism. I'm glad you did. I was just curious for my own, like how it works. You
Yeah.
know, there's a notice of violation. Normally, people try to fix it before it comes to me.
Yeah.
This one seems
Well,
easy, so,
I think it was also the hurricane, right, as soon as I got it, was
Right,
the hurricanes, and
right.
I couldn't get an engineer.
I keep
and
forgetting about the hurricane thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. the pool-
Okay.
The pool already is.
So, is there anyone from the public who wants to be heard on this case? Is there? Okay, I don't see any hands. Well, what I'll do, if there's no objection, is I'll find that there is a violation, doesn't seem to be contested, and require that in order to abate the violation, a permit be pulled for the dock and gazebo. And as a condition of that, the gazebo is going to have to be moved. And so I assume that in order for the permit to be issued, the gazebo is going to have to be shown in the new location. Now, once the permit's issued, does that abate the violation, or does everything in fact have to be
That
completed?
abates the violation once the permit is issued.
Okay, all right.
But may I say,
Yeah.
to close the permit, you're gonna have to get inspections done,
Yeah.
correct?
They'll have to be finalized out.
Correct. May I, I'm asking, does the gazebo have roof sheathing on it, plywood?
It's a metal roof.
Okay, but no plywood sheathing?
I don't think so. I think it's just,
When you look underneath, you see the metal?
yeah.
Okay, all right. My point being that if that sheathing was fastened, we wouldn't be able to see it.
Metal roof.
Well, okay, and I can see underneath, that's metal, correct? Okay.
Well, why are you concerned by that?
I'm trying to determine whether we can perform the inspections or I'll have to get a private provider to do it.
Why wouldn't you be able to perform the inspection?
If the roof sheathing was covered with metal, I couldn't see the fastenings get into the rafters.
But what makes a private provider able to do it?
They have x-ray vision.
Well, I mean, I'm a little worried by what you're saying.
What- It's their license.
That's what I'm
I
kind of
mean,
getting at. I'm
to-
like,
to-
I think I understand what you're saying.
But the Florida Building Code has no language to address after the fact permits. It does not have it. It tells you actually remove it. So I don't think that'd be a tough sell. So this is what the industry standard is.
Well, the Florida Building Code doesn't care how we bring something into compliance, does
Correct.
it? It does care?
No, it does
Oh,
not.
okay, okay,
No,
okay,
no.
gotcha. All right.
It has no language for that.
Okay, so you
In
agree?
this case, you can inspect it, right?
Is that a concrete foundation? that it's on? No?
It's on blocks.
Okay.
It's on concrete blocks.
Is it, but it's not poured concrete?
No, it's not poured concrete.
Okay. I think we'll be able to perform the inspections.
Well, I'm not going to get into the issue of the
Sure.
inspection, I guess. I'm only going to get into the permit. So what I'll do is I'll find that violation, find that it abates at the pulling of the permit having to show the gazebo moved to the proper location, okay? You'll have 6 months to do it, and if it's not brought into compliance in 6 months through the permit issue, there'll be a $50 a day fine, which is the lowest that we ever do. So, any questions?
No,
All right, great.
thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, the next case on the docket is Richard Kaufman, case number 2024-01342. Officer Kim Slater. This is on page 4 of the agenda. And these expert witnesses are Samuel Acosta, building official, and Dawson Redder, floodplain administrator.
Your Honor, we have been notified that there is no contest on this matter with Mr. Hoffman. I've been notified that Mr. Hoffman is present as well as his contractor for this project. Both have spoken with the county and are in agreement with 30 days to bring this into compliance and $50 a day if it cannot be brought into compliance within 30 days.
Can you hear a little bit about, actually, first, can I get y'all's names on the record?
Peter Thibodeau.
Okay, great, thank you. And, sir?
Richard Kaufman.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead if you
Yeah.
want.
Me too.
Everybody that has not been sworn in, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sirs. And so, ma'am, I'd like to hear a little bit about what this is.
It's an existing glass room that was permitted in 1999. That was never permitted to enclose for living area.
It's a glass room that was never permitted to,
They enclosed, no. The glass room, the existing glass room was permitted in 1999.
Right.
However, the previous homeowner converted it into living area with a bathroom, small kitchen. It was like a in-law, not an in-law, but like a caretaker suite kind of thing.
really?
Mhm.
That's interesting. Oh, that's creative.
To the rear of the house.
Okay, and this became a complaint, like it was discovered and,
Well, it was discovered when Mr. Kaufman was purchasing the property, or was looking to purchase the property, and the real estate agent actually called licensing compliance then in '22 in reference to the conversion. And nothing was ever, I mean, I can't say nothing was done. They actually pulled a permit, or an engineer did, for
Wow.
them, and never seen it through.
okay.
And then Mr. Kaufman ends up with this problem since '22. This is not the first time it's come up.
Sure. Wow, that's interesting. I mean, it happens a lot that prior or sellers do something, it pops up, and I've had lots of phone calls at my office about that where I have to deliver bad news about, And how do you go after the people who did, anyways. Is this it's only 30 days, so
Right.
it's just a matter of getting a permit issued?
Yes, sir, they have applied for a permit. His contractor has applied for a permit. It's in review. It's awaiting other documents. What's it called? Inspections. Inspections can't be conducted on it, so a private provider is going to be required for us to issue the permit.
Well, I just don't want to set anyone up for failure either.
Right.
So I want to make sure that 30 days is something that everyone feels comfortable with. It
Well,
sounds
I-
like you've agreed to it. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to the private provider yet. I have one in mind.
Okay.
But I don't know if he can turn it around in 30 days, so maybe, 2 or
I've
3.
seen private providers be quite amazing in how sometimes they'll kind of just do a drive, which I don't advise, but I have in fact seen it. They're now getting delicensed up in Nassau County, but in any event, look, I mean, if y'all feel comfortable with that, and it doesn't sound like they want to throw the book at you, I just don't want to set you up for failure either.
Yeah,
So-
if we could extend that to 60 days, it would be, because I haven't talked to the private provider yet, but I don't know his
That's
schedule.
the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I just
I'm
found
not
out that-
trying to get in the way of your negotiated agreement, but
But isn't the fine contingent on the permit being issued?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
50.
it's just the
so-
permit being issued. Yeah, not
Yeah.
finalized out or anything,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Once
Okay.
it's issued, you got 180 days before it goes null and void.
But do I need the private provider information before the permit is
Yes, you
issued?
do.
That's the only problem. If I can't hire the guy and have him do the job and come and have a look at it in 30 days, then if he could extend it to 60, that would make me feel a little.
So he actually has to go out and look at it
He
before the
does.
permit's issued?
Well, there's electrical in the walls that we can't see. There's plumbing under, and they've added on, so it's basically a living area. A separate HVAC system was installed. That's a mini split, but still a
I
separate
see what you're
system.
saying. I see what you're saying. I'll do what y'all have agreed to, so what are you guys agreeing to?
$50 a day,
And
How many
30
days?
30 days?
60.
60 would be,
I mean, is that
Make me feel
reasonable
more
to y'all?
comfortable.
Do you
It's-
have plans
we have plans,
Yeah, he submitted a permit.
yeah.
with the private provider's approval stamp or no?
No, not, it's architect stamped. The architect approved these plans, but now,
Is this
he's not a licensed private provider, so.
Well, and I understand when something isn't done to code, there's a presumption about, but do you have any reason to believe it is immediately unsafe or dangerous?
No, sir, I don't. It's nice, it's just
Yeah.
not permitted.
Well, then it's gone on for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is 60 days okay? Are you willing to agree to that?
I am,
I'll
yes.
be
Okay.
good with that, yeah.
Is there anyone from the public who wants to be heard on this case? I don't see or hear anybody, so what I'll do is find that there is a violation and give 60 days to abate that violation through the issuance of a permit as discussed on the record, okay? So the details that you heard, that's what kind of being bound to. And if it's not brought into compliance in that time, it'll be $50 a day. So 60 days, $50 a day. All right?
Okay,
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm sorry? If who drops dead? Well,
There's more than one private provider out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Just
talk to the
advise
county
them on the one.
if that happens. I mean, we're not here to be punitive. We just want compliance. Okay, all right.
Not to
Thank you.
step in where I maybe shouldn't, but he's been really sick and in the hospital, and I
Yeah.
think that's what he's kind of like going.
I understand.
And
All
I'm
right.
new on the project, just about 3 weeks, trying to help out.
I'm not worried about the timeline then, if 60 days. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next and last case on the docket is Roseanne Torres, case number 2024-01848, Officer Timothy Williams. It is on page 6 of the agenda, and the expert witness in this case is Samuel Acosta.
Your Honor, I've been notified that there is no contest to the notice of violation on this case, that the county and homeowner have spoken on the matter and are in agreement with 2 months to bring it into compliance and $100 a day if it's not brought into compliance.
first, I'd like to hear, who are y'all? What are your names?
Well, I'm Roseanne Torres. This is my boyfriend. He had the building put up, so I don't know much about it, so you'd have to really talk to him.
Well, that's fine. Could we swear y'all in?
Yeah, can I
and-
swear you
okay.
in? Do you solemnly tell the truth, the
Other
whole
right hand.
truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ma'am, could you put that on the record? I didn't hear a yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So what is, Mr. Williams, what is the issue on this one?
There was a metal building with a concrete foundation and electric, and also a shed with a concrete foundation.
Hold on, let me just make sure I write this down. So a metal building with electrical work that was done.
Yes,
And it had a concrete foundation.
Yes, sir.
And then there's a metal shed or a shed?
a metal
Metal
shed
shed,
next to it.
also with a concrete foundation.
Correct, yes.
Well, I'm assuming that none of it was permitted,
Correct.
based on how you're saying it, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're saying that there's two structures without a building permit that have some electrical and concrete.
Yes,
Excuse
sir,
me.
correct.
That one building was there when we bought the house, and I believe it's on the blueprints for it that it was already there.
Well, it won't matter if it's not permitted, but, so let me just make sure I understand the case. So, you're saying there's two structures there, electrical in one building, concrete foundation, but none of that was permitted as far as you know?
Yes, sir.
And it might have been there prior to them owning it, but it's not permitted.
Right.
Now, what would it take to abate the violation in this case? Two permits, one permit,
It's two separate structures?
Two separate-
There should be
two building permits, okay? And on each building permit, for example, on the first building permit, it would have to address the electrical and concrete foundation if it's going to stay,
Yes, sir.
correct? And, have you received any applications or seen any plans yet?
There is a permit submitted in February 6th.
Okay, great. All right, so I'd like to hear.
We have a situation where it's, I spoke to Mr. Stevens, and we need to come up with a better anchoring system so he can approve the permit. So when it's finalized, it can show the change on the anchor. I think we're good if we do that.
Meaning that you've applied for the permit, but the plans that they have, it needs to be modified to show the anchoring.
Modified system to show the anchor, even though it's been through two hurricanes,
Right,
apparently it need to add additional.
right.
And we're in for the permit, which should cover both buildings, I would think. We're not sidelined on that right now, right?
No.
So everything should be all right.
Oh, so they do only need one permit?
They need two permits.
Okay, so.
And we're
the
in
one-
for two permits.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're in for two permits. Gotcha, okay.
Right, correct?
You have an application in for two permits.
Well, if we're talking about two buildings that need permitted, I don't think that we should be in for one.
Right?
I don't understand though, if it was on the blueprints, how is it not?
On the plot of survey, the concrete's been there since we purchased the house.
Right,
Never did. We just put a shed on top of it.
right,
The other shed was there when we purchased the house.
right,
So now we're trying to permit a shed that was there existing and one that we built.
correct.
Okay, the one that we built, we don't have the right tie downs apparently, which it's been through two hurricanes. But we came in to an agreement if we add additional through bolts through the concrete, that would probably be sufficient.
I mean, that's a,
Now, the other building permit, I think they both are encapsulated on one. I don't think we should be sidelined on that right now.
Where's the other stuff?
well, none of that really matters to me. I mean, the bottom line is, it sounds like there's two permits, so whether, yeah, whether there's one application or not, what are y'all talking about?
How many buildings and permits?
Okay. Any change? You still think two?
I'd have to double check
All
on
right.
two permits.
Well, look, whether there's only one, oh, you don't know whether it'll take two permits or not?
It should take two permits. I'd have to check.
Are we
under the
in for two
permit if
permits?
it-
Hold on, and then if y'all would address your comments to me, this will make it easier.
Oh, okay.
I've been allowing the cross-party stuff, but we have a little bit more, we're a little further apart, I think. So I just want to make sure, if we are going to do an agreement, we need to know exactly what it takes to abate the violation. So it's my understanding that in order to abate the violation, we need two different permits, okay?
If they're detached structures, it's two permits.
Right, and that's what I've heard. They're two detached structures. They have their own concrete foundations. So we're gonna need 2 permits. Now, is that something y'all think you can do in 60 days?
So are we in for 2 permits currently?
I have no idea.
I believe you're in for one on the big,
So
large garage.
why isn't the second one being brought up only now?
Well, I don't know. Is this a part of the case, and was it a part of the notice of violation?
No.
Yes, on notice of violation, yes.
All right, well, then,
But we came in for the permits,
Well,
and now we're being addressed.
let me
on
make
2.
something clear. So if either we have an agreement or we don't, and if we don't have an agreement, we'll go through and I'll look through the notice and we'll get into all this. It's not a big deal. But here's what I wanna, my question to you is, let's say that you didn't know, okay? Let's say that for a second, there was nothing in the notice about the second one. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean you can't fix it within 60 days. So I don't want to lose an agreement if you think you can still get it done in 60 days. You see what I'm saying? I don't know how complicated these plans would have to be. It doesn't sound based on your description that it would be very
These are sheds.
complicated. Yeah, right. We're talking about a shed.
These are sheds.
I'm
That
sorry,
could
Ms.
have been
Harrison.
put
did you-
directly on the ground, by the way. Didn't need to be put on a concrete slab. It could go directly on soil.
Uh-huh. You're saying if it went directly on the soil, it wouldn't need a
And we wouldn't
permit?
even have this problem with anchoring and all this other business.
You're not talking about the medical,
talking
the
about both.
metal building with the electrical, you're talking about the shed.
I'm talking about apparently both of them.
Is that true?
I'm not understanding what you're saying. That if
Well-
they-
Base,
they
what
was-
I
if-
what I understood, and I do want to keep it now, the comments to me, is that if either the building or the shed had been not placed on the concrete foundation, but just put on the ground, that they wouldn't require building permits.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what I
said
took.
The anchoring part.
That's incorrect.
Okay, okay. And I would think it would be incorrect because you still need to anchor it. Okay.
Excuse me, but a different type of anchor.
Okay, now that makes more sense. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you now. I think we're all on the same page. All right, let's go through the case. We don't have an agreement, so present it.
This case number CE 2024-01848, Chapter 18, Article 1, Section 18A-8A, obtained after the fact permit for all construction or modification per the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. Address is 1698 South Ridgewood Point, Inverness. Property owners Roseanne Torres. Good service via signed certified mail return receipt. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Photos taken during my initial inspection on October 21st, 2024. Photos taken at my corrective action inspection on December 2nd, 2024, and photos taken at my final inspection on March 27th, 2025. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, notice of hearing, pre-hearing order, and a copy of the certified mail return receipt indicating good service.
Now, ma'am and sir, I'd like to ask you to take a look at these documents and let me know, and take your time, by the way, let me know if you have any objection to them being evidence in this hearing.
Listen, we have an agreement, except for, I don't want that agreement to be hindered by another permit that we're just finding out that we didn't really go in for in the first place.
That's why I need
You
to
know
go
what I
through
mean?
the-
Now we're
that's-
talking about a small shed that needs a permit, I suppose. That's
Yeah.
where, it's not a problem with complying within 60 days, as we just discussed. It's a problem with now that we have to come up with another permit where nobody was, I suppose, knew about a two separate permit, or why wouldn't we went for the second permit in the first place?
Right. And that's why I want to go through this, because I'll look at the notice, I'll hear his testimony, and I'll be able to figure out what was the issue, and we'll talk about it and sort out what the right solution is. So
Yeah,
take a look through these
because-
documents and let me know if you have any
is
objection
fine.
to them being evidence in this hearing.
Yeah, there's no objection. The small shed, apparently, we have to pull a permit on this now? and we didn't in the first place, right?
Well, no,
So the one
sir,
doesn't
please
encapsulate the
stop.
two.
Yes,
So the one
Sir,
doesn't
please
encapsulate the
stop
two.
directing your
Oh, I'm
comments to
sorry.
them, if you would. But here's the question to you guys, and I want you to take your time, look through these documents, let me know if you have any objection to them being evidence. Now, I hear what you're saying.
No,
These
this
photos
is
probably
not.
were not taken by Martians. It's
Yeah.
probably not a fake camera.
Well, no, this is not a problem. It's
Okay,
just a
good.
problem of, let's get on the same page.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this. So if you don't have any objection, Ms. Harrison, I'll let you look through these.
Can we
And
see if Mr. Torres has an objection? She hasn't spoken yet.
Do you
it's a
have any
good point.
objection?
Ms. Torres, you're the actual respondent
No,
in this
I'm
case.
just very confused because on my survey of my house or the plans, it shows that shed. So if I didn't have a permit, how could it be on my survey?
Well, because things will appear on surveys regardless of whether they're permitted or not. The survey just shows what's there, right? So you could build a whole house that hasn't been permitted. You do a survey on it, it's there.
That's why I was
She bought that.
confused, and I bought the house and I didn't know, because coming from New Jersey, we don't need a permit for a shed. And when we bought this shed, I don't understand why the company didn't even tell us we needed a permit.
Well,
I didn't know
Not
that.
this
coming from
the
big
New
one.
interesting thing is that, I mean, I don't know if you heard the last hearing, but this happens all the time where people buy property and there's actually stuff that hasn't been permitted.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And, you know, then the question becomes who's liable? I mean, obviously, frankly, the person who owns the property is going to be liable to fix it. And you may have a cause of action. I'm not your lawyer, but I mean, you may have a cause of action on the person who sold it to you for failing to disclose or whatever. I mean, I
Right.
don't know. So let me take a look at these pictures just so that I have a better understanding of what we're talking about. This is helpful to me. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B is evidence. So just give me one moment. Okay, I mean, this looks really reasonable. I mean, this all makes sense to me now. Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard? I don't see anybody. Okay, well, please proceed with your case, and then I want to hear from them.
On October 21st, an inspection was conducted and photos were taken regarding a metal building with a concrete foundation with electric and a shed also with a concrete foundation without permits. A notice of violation was issued on October 22nd, 2024, and at my corrective action inspection on December 2nd, 2024, the property remained the same with no issued permits. And on my final inspection on March 27th, the property remains in violation.
Okay, when was the application for permit made?
February 6th.
Okay. These actually look pretty nice. I mean, they don't look bad, but yeah, that's not the standard for these things. The question is, were they permitted, you know? So I do, actually, since you brought it up, let me look at some of the, Mr. Williams, I'll ask you this first. So I think they're indicating that it may, okay, yeah, this is why I wanted to look at it, ma'am and sir. In the notice of violation on October 22nd, it says, construction or modification of structure without required and issued permits, plural. And then it says metal building with concrete foundation and electric. And it also says shed with concrete foundation. So
I thought it
definitely,
was the same thing. I misread it then.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's pretty
But
clear.
that was on the description down here, when we pulled a permit, shouldn't have encapsulated both of them, because both of them were on?
Whoever applied for the permit should have applied for both things. And I guess whoever did it didn't do
We
it.
did it.
Oh.
But we were based on that particular paper, which they should have looked at and said, okay, well, we.
No,
need
you
two.
guys, it's on you. You've got to be able to apply for the right permits, and you
So
didn't do it. But that's
we have
okay.
to. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we'll
fine.
fix it. We'll fix it. Well, you will fix it, I'm sure. So in looking through the notice, it's all there. It's all clear.
So all we gotta do is get those Aggies.
So I mean, really, the only question becomes how long y'all need to get 2 permits for those. This isn't, like you said, it's really not that complicated.
Well, we just need to discuss with Mr. Stevens, if we can add additional ground anchors with what we have to come in compliance, pull the additional second permit for the small shed, and move on.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna find is that you're gonna need two permits. One is for the metal building, and one is for the shed. And let's talk about the anchoring. Is that's something you're saying is gonna be a part of both permits or just one permit?
Both.
Okay, both. The only question I really need to know and have answered is how long you think it'll take. I mean, I'm not gonna set you up for failure
I wanna
either.
say 60 days, because I'm only a servant, I don't make that much money, and I don't even know how much these permits are gonna cost me, which I was gonna ask the court today, how much do they run about?
I actually don't know.
I don't know.
Cause I gotta save the money for it, I'm a server, and I don't make a lot of money, and I need to know at least a ballpark, how
Are we
much I
talking
have to save.
thousands or?
No,
Yeah,
no,
we're
probably around about 125
Okay,
per,
that- okay.
per.
per.
Okay, that's affordable. Thousands, I'd be in trouble. That's
Yeah,
why I
that's
wanted to know
why
ahead
it's a
of
good
time.
question.
Which we're already in for one, we
Yeah.
already paid for.
Right.
So we'll make the adjustments to the fixtures and then pull the permit for the second.
It doesn't matter to me the order y'all do it in, it's just gonna have to be done in 60 days,
That's fair enough.
right?
No. I just want to understand the process that we
Yeah, yeah,
have to do. I
Yeah.
don't care if it's 60 days or 2 days.
Exactly.
I just want to know
Exactly.
that the anchoring situation is going to be contingent on the permit final, of course, and that we can go in for the second permit now that the first one's in there and move this together.
It's my understanding you won't need to wait for one. You could even stop whatever you're doing on the first one, apply for the second one, get that pulled first. But the bottom line is you have to have both pulled within 60 days of my order. And it won't matter the order. It won't, you get what I'm saying? You have flexibility on that.
Yes, sir.
Are you saying to be pulled within 60 days or you be totally pulled, compliant, and finalized?
Pulled,
There you go.
right?
Issued.
Okay, that's,
Permit issued and pulled.
I'm from the streets, man, so, pulled is what we say on the streets, so, okay, so I think we are on the same page, and what I'll do is I'll issue an order finding that there is a violation, and I'll give 60 days to, receive and have the county issue, permits for both of the structures, okay?
Thank you, sir.
And if it's not brought into compliance within that time, it's $100 a day. But honestly, looking at these structures, this is simple, yeah. Okay, are you good?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, then I think that's done with that hearing. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
And that was the last case. Is there anything else the county wants to bring up before we adjourn?
I think we're good.
Okay, then in that case, the time is 9:53. This hearing is adjourned. Thank you.